Hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. Happy Labor Day. I don't know if you're out on the lake. I don't know if you are out outside, if you're barbecuing, whatever you've got planned. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. I appreciate that. And hey, I am back. I am excited to be here all week long. Pastor Sarah did an amazing job diving in verse by verse through the book of James. So challenging, so convicting, so encouraging. Hopefully that you were inspired, you were challenged just as much as I personally was. And I was just thinking, man, like, how can I follow up with the book of James? How can I follow up with just amazing teaching verse by verse? And I was going to the Lord and he said, rest. And I was like, what? Like, how is that going to be a great follow-up with the book of James? I mean, having our faith paired with works and, considering a joy that when we experience these trials and these tribulations, because, it's going to develop our faith. And, we just finished our series on This Is Only a Test. And man, it was just awesome. And now God is saying, rest? How is that? And I began to go to the Lord and he said, that's exactly what I need. And it's exactly what my people need. So often we put our attention and focus on the outside. We put our attention and focus on doing and accumulating and, sharing with people, like, look at all the things that I have, or even testifying. It could be even good things, testifying, all these things. And all of that is good. However, so many times we can go to the Lord with our works, and we can go to the Lord with, like, look at all the things I have done. Look at, and have it be this transactional relationship, just like how most of our relationships are transactional. Just think of an employee to an employer relationship. I do the work and all the things, and I get compensated for that. Sometimes we view our relationship with God that way, and God's like, no, that's not how it works. See, what actually matters is resting in his presence. It's all about trust, not about relying on our own effort and our own ability. And see, that's not as popular because we like to do things on our own effort. We like to, like, hey, I can do it. I can muster enough strength. But God is saying, would you just rest in me? And so this week, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about soul care. We're going to talk about the Sabbath. We're going to talk about what it looks like to rest in God and what's the benefits and what do we actually get when we choose to rest, when we choose to trust in him. I want you to think about the last time you got invited to something. Maybe you're with family and friends right now because you got invited to a barbecue. You got invited wherever it may be, or maybe you're going there today, or maybe you were there this past weekend. This is often, a time where you gather together with friends, with family, and that's great. It's great to be invited to something like that. And maybe you are at home and maybe you weren't invited, or maybe you don't have friends and family that you're with. And that could seem, where you feel isolated, and that can seem like I wish I was invited. I want to share with you an important invitation that Jesus gives each and every single one of us. More important than any other party, more important than any other wedding gathering, more important than any other, social gathering, picnic, whatever it may be. Jesus offers something that no one else can offer. Oftentimes we can feel the weight of responsibility, the burden of our life, of what we need to accomplish, what we didn't accomplish, that we should accomplish, and we can just get overwhelmed by the weight, by the burden. Listen to what Jesus offers us through this invitation. If you guys have your Bibles, Matthew chapter 11, at the very end, Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 says this, "Then Jesus said, 'Come to me, all who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Did you hear that? Did you receive that invitation that Jesus is sharing with you? He's saying, would you come to me? And when you do, I will lift your burdens. I will give you rest. That is the only way that we can actually experience rest. I mean, oftentimes, what's our mentality? Our mentality is like, well, when I accomplish this, then I will be able to rest. When this gets done, then I'll be able to relax. How's that working for you? How's that working for me? Right? I mean, often I have that mentality. I'll just get through this. I'll just get through that. There's always a something else, right? And so when we have that mentality, we will never actually rest. And when we don't actually take time for our soul, when we don't take time to rest, we will get burnt out. And when the burdens and the responsibilities are weighing so heavy and we don't know what to do, oftentimes we revert to unhealthy habits. We revert to coping mechanisms. We revert to escape mentality. And Jesus is saying that's not what you need. You will actually begin to rot on the inside because what you're trying to replenish yourself with will never quench that, will never lighten the burden. Jesus is saying, would you come to me? And when you come to me, I will give you rest for your souls. And he's not done there. Listen, he goes on. Verse 29, take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Now, when Jesus is talking about a yoke, he's not talking about that yellow part in the egg. He's not talking about that. If you think about farming, when you think about animals, it's really a yoking two oxen together. When they do that, they will be able to accomplish so much more because they are paired together and they help each other out. And Jesus is saying the same thing to you and I. He's saying, would you yoke to me? Would you partner with me? And not only would you be able to accomplish more because I'm right by your side, encouraging you, lifting you, going behind you, beside you, and actually going in front of us. When we choose to do that, not only would we be able to accomplish more, but we will actually find rest and be able to trust in him and understand that his way is better than ours. And he goes on to say, last verse, verse 30, for my yoke is easy to bear and the burden I give you is light. That is something that Jesus offers us that no one else can. Oftentimes people will say, well, I'll help you. I'll do this. And oftentimes it could be a help, but oftentimes there's strings attached to it. I'll do this if you do that. It's that transactional relationship. That's not how it is with Jesus. When we go to him, we find supernatural rest, a peace. Jesus says, I give you a peace, but not a peace that the world offers. Jesus offers something that no one else can, rest for our souls. And the only way that we can do that is if we go to him. The invitation is already out. It's already there. Would you choose to go to him to find rest for your souls, to allow the burdens, the weight of responsibilities to be lifted? What would it look like for you to do that today? How would your life be different if you choose to do that? You have that choice. You can do that. That is my encouragement. And that is the word for today, for a daily dose, resting, soul care. The invitation is there. Come to Jesus. Find rest in your soul. Be partnered with him. His yoke is easy. His burden is light. I encourage you to do that today. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.